everyone, and today we are going to cover another episode of the Fab Fatties podcast. I think it's gonna, at this point, it was still the four Fab Fatties. And we're just gonna listen to like the first 20 minutes to a half an hour of this, kind of depending on how much there is to say about it. Now, this one is called Is It in Style or Is It Just in My Size? Meaning we're talking about fat fashion, which is typically a hot topic among the fat acceptance community, so I think that we will probably have some good points to talk about in this one. But we're just going to go ahead and listen and see where it takes us.
Hey! Welcome back to another episode of the Four Fab Fatties. Lucky says hello. Today our discussion is going to
So I want you guys to know that if this seems incredibly loud, it is not me. There's something like I don't know what happened with their audio while this was happening, but this is like really loud, almost to the point of like frying the camera, or not camera, but the mic or something, where it's like blows out. Not me. I'll fix it as best I can in post, but there's only so much. I'm not a miracle worker by by a long shot. So we shall see how this turns out.
be all about fashion and our experiences with clothing and different brands, shopping for clothes. And I'm going to need everyone to raise their hand if they've ever been victimized by plus size fashion or the lack thereof. Yeah, so we're going to get into it today, and I hope you really enjoy our conversation. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can see all of our new episodes. We're going to be bringing more content to you on hopefully an almost daily basis. So make sure that you're checking us out here, TikTok, Instagram. Please follow, give some love, and comment below.
Thanks. And with that, who are you?
Alyssa, Rebecca,
Allie, Maria. Yay!
and again, we're the Four Fab Fatties.
And
again, why do we fucking
we are fatties, and we are fatties. And
why do we have so many F's in our name? Well, because like alliteration.
Okay, so we are talking again. We are talking about plus size fashion today, and this was actually I think Rebecca's idea, because admittedly, Rebecca and I both are addicts. We have a bit of an addiction to shopping, and I personally feel that once plus size fashion became just honestly a skosh like fashionable,
Yeah.
I dove in, right? I
Yeah.
absolutely dove in, because for me it was like I either had Old Navy, Lane Bryant. I got one of my stand-up jokes is so for my bat mitzvah, this is like a running joke for me. For my bat mitzvah when I was 13, I had nowhere to get my bat mitzvah dress because I was bigger than everybody, right? I had nowhere to get my bat mitzvah dress. So everybody else, and I invited like my entire class, right? Like entire classroom, so all my classmates from both Hebrew school and regular school, right? Invited all of them. They all come to my bat mitzvah looking like Hillary Duff, okay?
Oh.
Meanwhile, my ass had to go to Steinmart, which was an old ladies clothing store, to get my suit that I wore, my two-piece outfit. And so they came looking like Hillary Duff, and I showed up my bat mitzvah looking like Hillary Clinton. So yes, I have been personally victimized by plus size fashion.
Rebecca and I have a running joke about that, about the women's business wear.
Yeah. I mean, I think so many of us were in middle school rocking Lane Bryant's business attire.
Yes.
And I remember back then, I do remember going to Lane Bryant at the mall. It was the only plus size store that we had at the mall. And looking at their clothes, and now they have more casual stuff, but back then it really truly was mostly like businessy type stuff. And I remember at the time, this was when like Clueless and all that stuff was out, and the sweater vest was in. And I did get a sweater vest, but everyone else had these really cute, like preppy sweater vests. They were all shopping at Limited 2, like, and then like a butterfly or something. I had a very serious, like dark colored neutrals sweater vest, and I basically looked like I was wearing the same stuff as my teachers. Lucky is
Lucky's-
joyful.
Lucky's
Joyful.
such chaos right now.
I love that. He's our fifth. He's not that, but he's our fifth member.
Yeah.
So while they're talking to the dog, I do want to jump in here. Like, to a certain extent, they do have my sympathy because middle, high school, not being able to wear what your peers are wearing and essentially wearing something similar to what your teachers were wearing had to be hard. I'm not gonna say, oh, well, then you shouldn't have been fat. They were kids. They probably didn't have much knowledge on nutrition, and they didn't have a whole lot of control over what they ate, depending on how, like, especially in middle school when the parents were still providing, like, the food, they didn't have a whole lot of control. So for that, they have my sympathy. Does that mean they were a victim? No, it's one of those things. This is the thing with this, like, I was a victim of fat fashion. It's I don't like that phrasing, and perhaps I'm being picky and I'm willing to be told that I'm being picky about it, but I don't like that because something unfortunate happened that means that you were a victim. I don't like that framing because it sucked, and I'm not trying to invalidate the feelings of how much it sucked. It definitely sucked, but it was a circumstance of the time. It was just your circumstances, and sometimes our circumstances suck. I'm not related to fashion, but like you guys know this, whenever I get a cold, I often will get pneumonia, a sinus infection, an ear infection, or something, or bronchitis is the other one. Like, I get some sort of additional issue with that cold or flu. Uh, and this is doubly assured and made far worse if I try to go to into work sick at all. And it sucks. Does that mean I am a victim of the healthcare system because I have to go in and I have to pay more? No, it simply sucks for me. It sucks for me. It sucks for me that I have to put out the extra money. And it's one of the reasons why I am definitely an advocate for universal healthcare. But does that mean that I'm a victim? I don't think so. It's in a similar vein. I'm not gonna deny that it sucked for you. It did suck because you weren't able to fit in with your peers the same way. You stood out at an age where standing out like that is just feels absolutely like the worst thing in the world. Regardless of whether you have the perspective of things could be far worse or not. That's kind of irrelevant. If you're 12, 14, 16, and you're dressed similar to your teachers and unable to visibly relate to your peers, that's hard. I'm not going to deny that. I don't like the framing that this is a part in their lives where they were a victim. It was an unfortunate circumstance, but unfortunate circumstances don't automatically equal victimhood to me. But if you disagree with that, please feel free to let me know in the comments.
He is fabulous.
So for me, it wasn't Lane Bryant.
Okay.
I actually didn't find Lane Bryant until I was much older in life because I grew up in the middle of nowhere, literally small town, rural. We had more, I don't know, cows than people. We had literally one stoplight in the entire town, and in town there was absolutely nothing. We had like 8 bars, one of which my grandma owned, and nothing else. A bowling alley that we hung out at very often.
So where did you get your clothes?
So our closest place to get any type of clothing was 20 minutes to 30 minutes away. And I remember going to that other small town because it was another small one, but they had the mall. Not a real mall, not a mall, not an actual mall. It was a strip mall, and it had a fashion bug in it.
Hell yeah.
And so for me, it was fashion bug.
I do remember coming across a fashion bug in high school. That was a little bit later in my life, and I was very excited about fashion bug at first. Yeah, but they're kind of like Cato's where they had like the women's section.
Yes.
And on the other side of the store was like the women's plus
Not
size
even the other
section.
side of the store. This was
The back
like the
corner.
back corner
Of course,
still.
the back corner.
And before that, I remember it was Kmart.
Yeah, I did a lot of
Freaking
Kmart.
Kmart.
Yeah,
And that, or not even Walmart yet.
yeah, I did
Ames?
Kmart in my
I think we had an
Yeah.
Ames back there, which was like a Kmart, but
Okay.
but went out of business way before they did.
Where'd you
But it
shop?
was very, very, very limited options.
I love my mom is really just like such an angel and had no idea what to do with me.
That's fine.
And
You
she
just didn't wear clothes.
She was naked. Okay.
my mom tried so hard and she tried to make shopping fun. And you know, my mom doesn't have the great body image either. Not that I mean, my mom is plus size, but by no means I consider her fat, you know? I think she's still in the, you know, the 1X, 2X range where I'm like, yeah, like you
16,
can,
18.
you can find those, you know?
Yeah.
But I just very much remember being in department stores, and learning like, oh, it fits, you like it, let's buy 5 of them. And
Yep.
I'm more so even embarrassed to admit that it wasn't until very recent, like the last year, that I've actually started to find clothes that I like.
Yeah.
And not just buying because it fits. And I still struggle with that when shopping.
Can we talk about the multiple items though?
We can.
Do I have probably 17 pairs of the exact same type of underwear?
I bet you
from
do.
Ford because they fit perfect.
I bet
And
I do.
love them, and that's the only ones I want.
Yeah.
And so does it look like I wear the same underwear every day? Yeah. Do you think I'm wearing any?
It's so true though. It's so true. Like, I mean, you either had the option to buy, 5 of the same thing in, one of every color because
All right, I'm kind of guilty of buying like the same thing in multiple colors too, mostly because I just don't like shopping. I mean, part of it was body image issues, especially when I was younger, but as an adult, it's just with my limited free time, it's not something that I like doing. I don't enjoy clothes shopping. I don't enjoy buying clothes. I don't like spending my money on clothes. Like, I will wear the same thing till it has holes in it. I will do my best to repair it, not giving a shit what it looks like. And as long as it looks like, as long as I'm covered, it looks presentable enough. Like, I will wear something into the ground if it has holes, but the holes are like easy to hide, then I will continue to wear it because that's just simply how I am. So I guess I can understand how it was difficult to shop that way when you wanted to be a fashionista. Like, okay, I kind of understand that. At the same time, at least for me, it's hard for me to see this as like a trial and or tribulation to like go through, because that was just kind of my default mode of doing things, because I don't enjoy shopping for clothes, and I've never really enjoyed shopping for clothes. Shopping was even stressful because my big thing was is that I'm like, does it look okay and would I fit in? Like, after a while, as an adult, I just stopped giving a shit about that. And I'm like, and now my big thing is it presentable? Do I like the cut of it? And can I wear it to work? Like, that's, unless there I have something that's like really, I really love sweats and oversized stuff for like around the house. I can't wear it at work, but, and I will literally, I have shirts that have a bunch of active holes in them. I wear them all the time because I don't give a shit what I wear around the house. If it's comfortable, it's on my body. Like, that's the rule for me. So I don't want to completely dismiss their feelings, especially from when they were in adolescence. But at the same time, this does feel a little bit like making a mountain out of a molehill as an adult. Perhaps I'm being unsympathetic, I'm not sure. But this just seems like, on the grand scheme of things, like as a teenager, I understand this being like a huge deal to you. Like I get that. As an adult and you're still complaining about it, I'm like, come on now, you have to have some perspective that there are things far worse than this. Right? Like I'm not saying that you can't be grumpy about it. Like I'm grumpy about plenty of things. I'm grumpy that I have to buy Dove soap or my hands will break out in an eczema rash. Like I'm grumpy about it. Uh so I understand being grumpy about it, but I don't feel sorry for myself over it because I also recognize like I don't need medical intervention, knock on wood, because I don't want to get there, but I don't require medical intervention for my eczema. It can be managed just by buying the right products. So in that realm, I'm grateful. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, am I annoyed by it? Yes. Could it be worse? Also yes. So like I take it as this is just the way my life is. Other people have other um issues that they have to deal with on a daily basis. This is mine. It's that kind of thing. And the thing is with their weight is that especially at this age they're all adults. If it really bugs you that much, you can fix it. You can fix it by losing weight. Move a bit more, eat a bit less. This is manageable. This is manageable and it's fixable without medical intervention. That's my big thing. Like because I often have to go to the doctor if I get like sick, if I need like an antibiotic, which I need more often than I would like. When I have an issue that is fixable without going to the doctor, I will always take the non-doctor option. Sometimes even when I probably should go to the doctor. If I can manage it well enough without going to the doctor and without having to incur a $300 medical bill at a minimum for a doctor's visit, with insurance, I will take it. And for my non-American viewers, I understand how that seems dystopian. Unfortunately, that's just American life. That's the one thing where I'm like, Americans can feel a little bit sorry for themselves when we don't have universal health care, and even the health care that we do get is kind of shit. But anyway, let's listen to more.
They made maybe 5 different pieces
if you were lucky
for our size, right?
Yeah.
And then it really is like, I think are we titling this show? I think we titled this episode. Is it in style or is it just in our size?
Yeah.
Right? So is it really like, did we buy it because we liked it, it was trendy, it was what we wanted to put on our bodies, or do we buy it because that was what we had offered to us?
Yeah.
I remember in high school, we did have a good goodies and Rugged Warehouse near us, and all my friends wanted to shop there because it was like a little bit more bargain price. You could get more bang for your buck, in terms of multiple items. As in the teenagers, that's what we wanted. And I could never find anything there. Goodies for a while had size 24 jeans, and I could barely get them up over my butt because they're so low rise. Like I would just spill out of it, and yet I would still like buy them, even though I really couldn't wear them. And then I also have I will not wear capris now because there were these capris from Lane Bryant that I lived in because they fit me, and I had them in black and khaki, and they're kind of like almost like they weren't windbreaker material, but they're enough plasticky that your thighs like. Yes.
I'm like, if you're a fat girl and you don't recognize that noise, then like, what were you doing?
Yeah, and so I lived in capris for like, again, it's just like, okay, this fits. It's close enough to what other people are wearing that I'm going to get it. But then I'll get pictures of myself in high school. I'm like, no, I wasn't dressing like anyone else, and this was still the best I could find. I still had a little bit more means to me in terms of my mom letting me get some clothes that I tried at least. It wasn't the same. It wasn't matching up. But and I also remember one time at Limited Too finding one shirt that fit me, and did I buy it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did I wear it ridiculously often because it was the one shirt that was like the same style as my peers? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like you just treasure those little connections. This little I'm kind of in the sphere of things.
I learned only getting into college about Forever 21. And they're plus size. And I was elated that I could go to the store with my friends and just even see potential options that would fit. Like, and then of course they barely.
But
I mean, it's Forever 21.
Sensory nightmare that February, that Forever 21 is, where you have to go in there and dig through.
Yeah, it was always
not
the
just,
messiest section.
not just for regular sizes, right?
Yeah.
But for plus sizes too, to have to go through there and dig through and hunt for the one plus size piece that they had in there.
So my experience was a little bit different. They would have a little section of plus size, but when I say little, I mean the area of the carpet.
Oh,
it was like, here's your options. We're so happy you're here shopping with us.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous.
Well, that was Target for the longest time. I mean, I will give Target that at least they have Ava and Viv as a designated section now. But Target used to be literally a rack or two. And I probably wore a size 26 and up from the age of 22 to 34. And so I was size 26 up to size 32. Forever 21, nope.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I wore size 26 from ages 22 to 34. How old are you now? How I guess I never really put much thought into their ages. When it comes to fat acceptance, I'm realizing just now that I assume that everyone is younger than me, and so they just don't have a level of life experience or something. But these 34 is older than I am, which means you're even older than that, and you're still this is a big part of your life. I genuinely don't understand how people can you really have nothing else going on that you can devote your energy to. This is it. This is where you put your energy and your thoughts toward. I don't get it. For me, if it's not something that directly affects my ability to live, which if you have something to put on your body, then it's not. Then if I'm as long as I have something to wear to work and I have some comfy clothes for the weekends and stuff when I stay home and hibernate and isolate, because that is just who I am. I socialize all throughout the week. I don't want to do it on my weekend. Once all of that is kind of taken care of, then I'm focusing primarily on hobbies. I play the recorder. I'm teaching myself the ukulele. I am embroidering right now. I have a knitting project that I have not stayed on top of and want to get back to. I have things that bring me joy that I would much rather focus on. So getting hung up on whether I have stylish clothes in my size just isn't a priority for me. This is, or getting caught up in when I was a teenager, I wasn't able to wear the fashionable stuff. I mean, in my group, I was homeschooled, but even in the homeschool group, I was probably one of the chubbiest girls there, if not the chubbiest. And that was what it was. I don't care anymore. It doesn't affect my life now. And in general, I found that most people are intolerable assholes anyway, so the opinions of others doesn't really concern me unless it directly affects my job. So I guess I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Did I even call it Forever 21? I think I called it Forever
You
22.
did.
Okay.
That should be the real plus size.
There was just nothing size 26 up. Department stores stopped at a size 24. I actually found some of the first. I went after when I was graduating college. I went to a Macy's in Charlotte, and I went to college in Boone, which is a rural area in North Carolina. So I was oh my gosh, I didn't even know this stuff existed, And I found a dress I liked, and I remember being oh my gosh, there's cute stuff and plus. And it was right around the time that I actually started Googling plus size clothes, and that's when I found my first plus size blog that was focused on fashion. And my mind was blown. But at that point in time, a lot of companies that were pushing at plus size fashion were brands in the UK. So this was before ASOS. This was Evans. This was Simply Be. And those brands now aren't even available to me. So I've seen so much change in brands. American brands have skyrocketed. We have way more access than any other country to plus size clothing. And yet I still struggle to find clothes I like and clothes that feel like me. And I also sometimes see something, well, I've never seen that in my size before. So should I buy it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if I still am constantly.
But if you're talking about finding things that reflect you, and once again, this is something that so like does not concern me. I can fit into, like, in general, I wear a large to an extra large, so there's plenty of options for me, right? I still don't. I tend to buy like the most bland stuff to wear because I simply don't care. And nothing really captures like the look that I want anyway, which is why I've kind of taken up sewing, so that way I can kind of there eventually I want to filter stuff in that I've made that looks like, but sometimes you're just picky. Like, I'm not saying that your option isn't more limited and stuff, but there's plenty of plus size options out there. But also just sometimes for what they call straight size people, they just because there's more variety doesn't mean that you will necessarily find what you want. Sometimes you're just picky, and I'm wondering how picky they are, in all honesty. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but how picky are you? Because not being able to find something that you feel matches your style is not automatically indicative of a lack of options. Not everyone can find what they want, which is why so many people thrift and then alter those clothing options. And let's say you can't thrift, and let's say you don't sew, that's fine. Gildan t-shirts go up a good number of sizes. I think you can get up to 6X if you order them online. Now these are just standard solid color t-shirts, right? With a little bit of working, you can tie-dye them, you can alter the collar, like you don't have to sew a garment from scratch. There's so many options. Get creative if it's that important to you. If it's that important to you. I don't really care that much. I like most of the hats that I see don't fit like something that I want, but I've been seeing a lot of millinery craft projects that I love. So I do make hats like that because I like them. Because I like making hats. I like making hats. I like um using a lot of florals and stuff and shit. Like I'm not terribly picky with my fashion choices, mostly because I don't care. But when it is something I care about, I like making it because I can make it the most personalized version of it. And there is part of me that does sometimes like having something that no one else has. But regardless of like where you are on this spectrum of what you care, how much you care about the clothing that you wear and how personalized you want it to be and stuff, sometimes there will still be no options for you because what you want either isn't in style, people don't make it, or you're too picky. So I don't know, it's just not. It's like I still don't find things that represent me. Then make something. Like there's plenty of people out there that are thin even that don't find things that they feel reflect them as a person, which I never really understood anyway, but like whatever. If you feel that your clothes have to reflect your personality in some way, that's you. That's fine. Sometimes if you wanted to reflect your personality in order to be as personal, because I mean this is mass market shit. This is stuff that's meant to appeal to a wide variety of people, which means it's going to be typically a bit blander. So if you want something more personalized, if you want something to reflect you, sometimes you have to make alterations or make something from scratch.
I've never seen this in my size before. And that's been, I'm 35 now. So this has been a 13-year process of me still not having full enough access to really think about how I want to express myself fashion-wise. And some of it's just that we don't have the same kind of styles at different price points, 300 plus.
I accidentally pressed the wrong pause button, so we're going to go 5 seconds back, 10 seconds back, and then we'll listen to that again. But she was talking about, I'm 35 now and I still haven't found something that in how I want to express myself with fashion. Then make something. Like, this is one, feeling this way at 35, for me, reflecting who I am with fashion. I don't understand that. Like, I buy things that I like. Is that what you mean by reflecting yourself? Like, you haven't found things that you like? Or is it about a persona that you want to put forth? I'm willing to accept that maybe I'm the odd one here, but, like, if it's about expressing yourself with fashion, if it's expressing yourself, expressing how you want to be perceived or whatever, honestly, that sounds like what you need to do is get comfortable customizing clothes that you can buy. Like, I don't. Okay, so they don't make this certain thing in your size. Can you replicate that? Like, there's vintage styles that went out of fashion that maybe people can't find anymore or anything, and you learn how, if it's that important to you, because but I've seen so many. I've really been looking into mending stuff, and I like making things. So DIY stuff comes across my various feeds constantly, and there's people that will customize things left, right, and center from otherwise bland products because they want to express themselves in this way. If you want to express yourself fashionably, then there is a bit of an onus on you to customize things in a way that suits your needs. You're not going to be able to express yourself 100% with fashion with like ready to wear items. Not if you're like truly looking to express yourself, or maybe if you have like a really bland personality, but there's going to be hunting that has to be done typically even still. And again, like, get creative with it. This just kind of there's a part of this particular problem of I can't find things. I'm 35 and I haven't found things in ways that allow me to express myself the way I want with fashion. This almost feels like a learned helplessness sitting in your room, poor me sort of situation. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I just completely out there? Am I being too harsh? Because to me, this just seems like a boo-hoo, poor me, pity party bullshit thing that they're doing. Like this, I feel like I'm coming across really harsh, but this just seems at 35, this is a ridiculous thing to get hung up on to me. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Your thoughts. I want to hear them.
Really think about how I want to express myself fashion wise. And some of it's just that we don't have the same kind of styles at different price points, right? Like
Right.
you can get those styles you pay $300 plus, or if you're going to be paying under $100, you're much more limited to certain brands and styles.
So you said several things that I want to
Okay,
touch on. So first thing, circling back to the high school comment and your one shirt that you found, I had one red, very, very red Gap shirt, and it was just a t-shirt, and it was the stretchiest material ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I wore that sucker all the time because it made me feel like I finally fit in. Like I can finally wear
the logos and labels
what everyone else is wearing and not feel so out of place.
Yeah.
And even just adding into that, like that idea to want to fit in and find
even the fitting in the thing and finding like that one item that you wear all the time. Everyone has that. I have this thrifted vest with a hood thing that I got for $1 at a garage sale. And it has the fabric has this kind of different nautical themed things like almost stamped in the fabric. I don't know how to explain it. It's not quite embroidered, but it's not just a pattern on the fabric either. It's almost like this stamping. There's a slight 3D effect to it. And one, it was plain white, which I didn't care for, so I tie-dyed it. And now the zipper has broke, so I'm currently wearing it with a broken zipper because I love it. Because I really love it, especially during the summer. It's my favorite thing to wear. I wear the like a full coverage sports bra or sometimes like an Under Armour yoga bra with it, and then nothing else pretty much underneath it because I don't have to, and I'm covered and I like it and it's comfortable and it's cool, and I've tie-dyed it my favorite color, and I love the way the tie-dye work came out. I'm really happy with it, so I wear it constantly. Especially during the summer, I wear it constantly. Everyone has that one thing. Even as a teenager, there were certain shirts that I wore that made me feel like it made me look slimmer because grew up in the 90s, very low body image, and I like things that made me look thinner. Wore those constantly. I had things that featured certain like it wasn't quite characters, but certain like emblems and stuff that I just really liked. So I wore those constantly. Like everyone has a couple of garments that even both as kids and adults that they just really love for whatever reason. Sometimes it can be an aesthetic thing. They like the way it makes them look. It makes them feel confident, so they wear it. It feels like it fits in with whatever look you're going for, with whatever atmosphere you're going for. It's just really comfortable. It is your favorite color. It can be any number of things that you just wear the same thing over and over as much as you can because you love it. This isn't unusual.
Your style and everything almost pushed me so far against it at one point because I went very much from trying to fit in, trying to be what everyone else was, to wanting to be the exact opposite. So I was like, if I can't fit in with these people, I don't want to be them.
Yeah.
So then it switched my entire styling to be like, no, I'm the weirdo emo girl who now has an individuality because I'm choosing this. So I'm going to be your band shirt.
That's not an exclusively fat girl thing. I think anyone that felt rejected by their peers for any number of reasons and was maybe prone to depression probably latched on to the emo subculture as a way of rejecting those they felt had rejected them. Like this is not an exclusively fat thing. This is a pretty congratulations. You went through a very 90s baby adolescence. Like it's for you it was because you were fat. There are plenty of other people that maybe they were odd or they didn't fit in with their peers or they didn't care about what their peers cared about, and so that kind of ostracized them, or perhaps their parents uh wouldn't buy them the latest styles and so they were ostracized for that reason, or perhaps they got sick a lot or they had like chronic illness as a kid and so they weren't able to fit in with their peers that way and they were depressed about that, and then they latched onto this emo subgenre because they felt it validated their feelings, and by validating their feelings, they can reject those that rejected them. This is a very congratulations. This was the 90s baby teenage experience.
Like I'm gonna wear My Chemical Romance. I'm wearing Reliant K. Yeah. I have all of them, and I'm adding a hoodie over top. I have my jeans on, and if I'm feeling crazy, I have like one other emo kid. We'd wear our fingerless gloves, and I might throw on a bandana. Yeah, because I wanted to be so uniquely myself and make my own way because there wasn't a way for me.
Yeah, I feel like that was
because there wasn't a way for it. No, you wanted to make your own way because you felt rejected by the mainstream, as a lot of fucking teenagers do. Oh my god, this is not, because it wasn't made for me. It wasn't made for anybody. For fuck's sake, I don't mean to be rude, but you are not special. Your circumstance, like the experience that you are describing here is not a unique one. Alright, my homeschooled ass went through this. Emo was a complete subculture growing up. It was like emo and scene, and I think there was another one in there that I don't remember. But like you listen to My Chemical Romance. Congratulations, so did a lot of other teenagers. My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Linkin Park. I feel like Paramore might be in there, although I think they came a little bit later. Welcome to the being a teenager in the early to mid aughts.
It's very much the case for me early high school, because coming out of middle school was, in our age group, middle school was the height of Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister. And that was like everybody in their straight size bodies, their quote unquote normal size bodies it was all about the labels. It was all about the brand names, right? Everybody was wearing Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I couldn't set foot in that store, right? The only thing I ever had from Abercrombie and Fitch was their perfume, because I did like Abercrombie 8. It did smell really good.
I hated it.
But that's fair.
It smelled terrible.
But but like that was, I do think at one point I had one t-shirt. I think somebody gave it to me or something. But other than that, like it was just like coming out of middle school, it was like that's what everybody was wearing. And like again, it was something I could not participate in because it was not made for me. I didn't feel comfortable setting foot in that store because pretty much the looks that you got, right? But so like getting into early high school,
Abercrombie and Fitch was there were plenty of people that were not like super obese or whatever that struggled with Abercrombie and Fitch. Not only that, but if you were poor, it was harder to buy clothes from there. If memory serves, they were typically fairly pricey, I believe. So there were a variety of people that could not shop at Abercrombie and Fitch, and I remember vaguely that being somewhat popular. So all of the kids that couldn't shop at Abercrombie and Fitch either thrifted or went to Hot Topic if they could afford that. I went to Hot Topic. I had trip pants with the like chains hanging from it. I lived in those pants for like my entire teenagedom, pretty much. I loved those pants.
I was wearing oversized band t-shirts, my jeans, and my Chuck Taylors. And like it was every single day. Wearing a brand new t-shirt, Taking Back Sunday t-shirt, my coworkers, absolutely. And it was like I was doing what I could to have my own style, but also just kind of hide myself too.
Yeah.
Like,
welcome to being a teenager. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude and I don't mean to invalidate their feelings from their adolescence, but at the same time they need to keep things in perspective of this is not a terribly unique experience. There were kids that felt the same way for a variety of reasons. Not every person's teenagehood or adolescence was ideal where they were able to keep up with all of the current trends. Like, I would even say most people, that wasn't their experience. I don't mean this in a cruel way, but you are not special.
If I just wear t-shirts and jeans every day, I'm like,
did I need a big t-shirt with a hoodie over top of it?
I did the same, yeah.
Just completely layered up.
Yeah. And it's like 85 degrees outside. Am I wearing a hoodie because I want to cover up my arms too? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am. I get that.
Oh my gosh. Just thinking about high school reminded me, I was in marching band and I was in the color guard. But so many of like the sports teams and stuff, and like if you're getting a school t-shirt, they didn't have enough sizes. They didn't go up to enough sizes. And I remember being aware that my color guard team could not get the like windbreakers that they wanted because it didn't come available in my size. And they had to pick another style because it had a larger size range. And even then it was so tight on me that I would be scared to bend over, you know, like, and I'm just like, I contemplated not doing it. I contemplated getting off the team because it would be too embarrassing, you know, to not fit into it. But I'm also kind of like, why did my band teacher make me aware?
Right.
That
she didn't have to tell you.
No, like take my measurements and then decide what would work best for your team. But when I became an educator and I ran a writing center and we were looking at like getting t-shirts, I'm like, we are picking things that have the widest freaking size range. And I just,
I mean, it is infuriating. I remember, so this, as fat people, what's our biggest thing we're told? Lose the weight, be more active, do these things. But then there's so many instances where we try to participate and we're immediately pushed out.
Yeah.
I was in cheerleading for years and I remember being sized out of cheerleading. I couldn't do cheerleading because I didn't fit the skirt. And there was no option. It wasn't, we're going to try and find you an option. We're going to try and find, you can wear pants. You can do this. You can do, if you can't wear what we're wearing, you can't be on the team.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me that you want me to be more active and you want me to go out and do the things, but then you're going to make it literally slam the door in my face and tell me, no, you can't do this because of how 100%. You look. Yeah. So what? I'm supposed to lose weight like this so that I can be on your team tomorrow? That's not how bodies work.
No, it's a punishment. You're punished. You're left out of things.
I actually have a teacher. I don't want to say he gave me an eating disorder, but I began disordered eating, I guess, because it was I was cast in a play. I had a main role, and he came up to me to see if I would to arbitrarily measure me in front of the class to see if I would fit the wedding dress he wanted me to wear for this role, and literally just used his hands, okay, and came up to me and just put his hands on my shoulders and goes, "Well, I mean, you're built like a linebacker." I'm in middle school. I'm in fucking middle school, okay? And I'm like, well, all I eat now, and literally for
I think she said it was a male teacher. Like I'm not making excuses, but if it's one thing that I've learned, it's that men, a lot of men, especially those that don't have daughters or something, don't fully recognize how their words will impact teenage girls. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I don't think that it was malice intent. I think he just had no fucking tact. Not excusing it. You by all means still be mad at him because for fuck's sake, read the room, but I'm just saying I don't think that it was purposefully cruel.
years. I only thing I ate at school was goldfish crackers and green tea. My green tea, I still have my emotional support green teas. But like I was just like, he's shaming for my entire class. But then also going back to what you said about the I lost it. Somebody else go. I lost it.
I'm thinking even like Halloween costumes. I couldn't get like all my Halloween costumes were like self-made. We talked about cheerleading. I was a cheerleader one year for Halloween. I made my own skirt out of felt because I couldn't buy Halloween costumes at any of the stores or anything like that.
The amount of years I was a witch.
We didn't have Amazon or anything like that.
Because it was easy to find a black hat and whatever black dress.
I mean, this is when, Alyssa's enough younger than us, so I don't know if this is your experience or not. Like, we didn't have Amazon. We weren't shopping online yet.
No, there wasn't online shopping.
Online shopping for me started probably when I was 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, in college.
Yeah. I was not shopping online prior. That was not what we did. No. And so you truly were limited to what was local to you. And even now, I think about teenagers. I'm like, how many of our current fat teenagers still don't get an in-store shopping experience and only shop online?
I mean, I still struggle with an in-store shopping experience in my size currently.
I do too. And that's something like I get, and I think a lot of us still do. And I mean, I've heard from other fat gals like me, like that I get a lot of anxiety traveling, right? Because I almost never will check a bag.
Oh, you cannot lose that suitcase.
Hell no, I will not lose my suitcase.
You cannot lose that suitcase.
Because there is no guarantee that where I'm going, I will be able to replace what's in my suitcase.
100%.
Right? Like I remember, I think it was like earlier.
All right, we're about 20 minutes in. I'm definitely, at the very least, going to do a part 2 because I've had a lot to say about this, and I do kind of want to cover the shopping options some more and stuff. I find I'm enjoying reacting to this, so I'm gonna definitely make a part 2 for next week. But for now, this is already like I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get this out on time because it's become longer and there was some other stuff that I wanted to say. So if I end up covering the whole episode, it'll be 3 parts, but I have to end this here today. I do want to just talk about a couple of things. Nothing to really recommend reading wise this week, but at this sale, this crafting sale, it's annual, it happens every year. I was able to get this old vintage quilt kit that it's stamped cross stitch and you can put cross stitch on it, and I was able to match up the old colors so it looks really vintage, and I'm super happy with the way it's turning out and I'm really excited about it. And I've uncovered a whole world of old vintage quilt kits, and some of them are fucking gorgeous. And I'm watching a bunch of different ones to see what I can afford, because sometimes people like want $100 for this thing that cost $20 about 40 years ago. So like I understand why they're upcharging, but I don't want to spend $100 on a kit. But like there's just so many to kind of keep an eye on and watch, and I love them. And I'm so excited to continue working on the one that I'm working on. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.